We pray for all of us gathered here, especially for the families and the loved ones of those who have departed this life.
Hear our prayer.
We pray also for those who are suffering and in need of care.
Hear our prayer.
We ask that all those who have the skill and the authority to help the suffering be blessed.
Hear our prayer.
We pray that our legislators and our governor be blessed with courage and a thirst for justice.
Hear our prayer.
Be with all of us gathered here, Holy One, as we mourn the loss of those who we honor today.
Gracious One, hear our prayer.
Please be seated.
Welcome to everyone present today. On behalf of the Michigan Interfaith Coalition, the Brain Injury Association of Michigan, and We Can't Wait. Admittedly, I'm overwhelmed by the fact that we even have to be here, to be honest about it. I never thought it would come to a scenario like this when we pointed out the need to fix the fix so early after the law was passed, but we are here. And we are extremely privileged that family members of a number of wonderful people who passed away as a result of the consequences brought on by the changes in the no-fault law have opened their lives to us in such an intimate fashion. We're honored by the presence of so many clergy who took the time to join us in honoring the memories of those who have passed and to support their families. It's my honor to share information about James Bordage and introduce his wonderful engineer by trade. He was an amazing husband, father, coach, school and church volunteer. He was injured in July 2014 at age 42 in a horrific accident when he turned into his own street and was hit by a tractor trailer. After being in multiple hospitals and facilities, Angelina was able to bring him home in June 2015. He was quite dependent and required 2 people at a time to care for him. She created an agency to provide caregivers for him, but eventually could not find people available to help due to changes in the no-fault law. Agencies also could not provide sufficient staff. To get ahead of things, she moved him to a facility to get him a room while they were still available. The facility could not keep up with his care like Angelina and her team have been able to do while he was at home. A short time later, he became ill and ended up on a ventilator. He had never been on a ventilator at home. He never got off the ventilator. As a result of that and other issues, he passed away on December 31st, 2021. Angelina lives in the Detroit area with her 3 children. She's a very intelligent and strong person who clearly misses her husband. She has now lost him twice, once when he was injured and then when he lost access to his care and lost his life. Angelina, thank you from the bottom of my heart for your willingness to come today and share your thoughts.
First, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's trying to fix this for the people that can still be helped. People that are spending time going out of their way, just out of the goodness of their heart. So thank you to everybody. Just wanted to say a few things about my husband. He's a good man. He was a loving and devoted father who was very involved in all aspects of our children's lives. He coached, volunteered, said yes to anyone that needed help. He was a good son, a brother, a friend. Someone was down, he extended his hand to help them out. He was a fighter for himself and for those around him. The kind of guy that never gave up on a project, even when everyone else wanted to walk away. When his accident happened, there was so much unknown. I wasn't sure what to do. After a lot of prayer, I felt like it was my job to just follow where I was led. So I decided to fight for Jim as long as Jim wanted to fight for himself, and he fought. I had repeatedly heard over the years that no one survives that kind of injury that he sustained. No one that didn't know Jim could understand why he was still alive. The people that did know him knew how much he loves his family and that we were worth it to him. So it began with us having no idea how it would end. I brought him home and gave him the most quality of life that I could and chance of success that was within my power. He was stable, without a wound on him, off of a vent, surrounded by his children and myself, who loved him. He got to go outside to watch sports. His friends would still come to visit throughout the years, which I believe was a testament to what kind of man he was, that people still showed up. I think anybody that's been touched by this, you just appreciate those people that still show up. It's amazing. I watched therapists, caretakers, doctors fall in love with him, and he had never spoken a word. Of course, I had high hopes that something amazing would come along, the miracle that we had been praying for, stem cell treatment, something. But in the meantime, I felt like my job was just to keep him safe, as comfortable as I could, healthy, and give him that chance for recovery, should it come along. After fighting so hard for 7.5 years, for him to have such truly an unbearably awful end forced upon him by the no-fault law changes is something that honestly should be unsettling to everybody that knows about it. It wasn't okay, just to put it simply. The fact that people would inflict anything like that on another person, especially somebody like Jim that had literally spent his life being the good in the world, to have so much bad come at him. As Dr. Perlman mentioned, his care declined obviously very quickly. He was actually put on a vent within 24 hours of leaving my care. He got sick and never regained health. He just gathered wounds as the months went along, infections from the wounds, cellulitis from the infections. It was just one thing after the other, and that's not to mention being in a room by himself. Half the time we weren't allowed in, people that didn't care about him. All of these things he was given when he was home. There was no reason to move him out of an environment where he was so loved and so cared for. I got my tissues that he gave me. I had no recourse or path to take to help him because all of those were stripped from us by the no-fault law changes. Anybody that has fought for their loved one through this knows that there were options. There were things that you could do. There were, the facilities knew that you could move your loved one. But with the no-fault law changes, they would only agree to pay for the, in my opinion, the worst facilities, the ones that didn't care for the patients. So my family and I had to watch him die a very slow, very painful death. We weren't able to be with him in the end. I knew that Jim would fight for as long as he could, but that he would eventually succumb unless the law had changed. Unfortunately, the law changes didn't come quickly enough for him. Some have said over the years that Jim didn't have a lot of quality of life anyways, so what was the point? I can understand somebody that isn't aware of the whole picture, why they might have that perspective, but even if that opinion is correct, that still did not mean that Jim needed to die the way he did. Might have been tortured in the moment. So, on a personal note, we will always love him. I miss him, I appreciate all listening to his story. But I hope that his passing can help somebody else that is still able to be helped. And again, I appreciate everybody that's fighting for the changes because nobody should have to go through what he went through. That's it.